Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of Life of Love. I'm Adam,
I'm Steph.
and we are still in love.
Yeah, we are.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and for all the support you guys have been giving us over the last 11 weeks now. We truly appreciate each and every one of you that is checking us out. And again, if it's the first time you're seeing us, or just you need a reminder, we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And we put out daily clips of the show on YouTube as well, in shorts, usually, 30 seconds up to about a minute and a half, depends on the clip. So if you guys want to check those out throughout the week, you can do that.
Yeah.
We're also sponsored again by Fundy Shores Hideaway, located near Alma in New Brunswick. So if you guys are looking for the ultimate vacation destination in Atlantic Canada, check them out on, just Google them, or you can check them out on YouTube or Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Fundy Shores Hideaway, and you will see the information on them. They have fully equipped trailer rentals as well as spots to bring your own. So if you guys like ATVing or just exploring Canada, they are great places to. It's a great place to go to.
Yeah.
This week we're going to do another Am I the A-hole? You guys seem to really like that one. That seems to be getting the most views on any of our clips. So we've got an interesting one this week. Not as funny as the last one, but I think it's a good story just to kind of wrap up some of the stuff we've been talking about on the previous episodes that we've been doing. And then once that, we've also going to we're going to go over some tips for meal prepping and just things that we do throughout the week to help set us up for success. So let's get started with the story.
All right. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband he's out of touch with reality? I, 25 female, have been married to my husband, 33 male, for 5 years. We have 2 kids, and I am pregnant with our third. My husband makes a lot of money, multiple 7 figures a year, so I'm a stay-at-home mom. I know how lucky we are financially, but I feel like I'm drowning, and he's just not getting it. He works insane hours, sometimes 12 to 14 hours a day, and travels a lot for work. When he's home, he's a great dad, but I'm still the one handling everything. Meals, cleaning, doctor appointments, school stuff, all of it. We have a cleaning service and a part-time nanny, but they don't run our household. I do, and I am exhausted. The other night, I finally broke down and told him I'm overwhelmed. I am pregnant, chasing 2 toddlers all day, and it feels like everything falls on me. His response? Just hire more help. I told him that's not the point. I don't need more employees. I need my husband to be present and actually involved. He got defensive and said he's doing everything he can to give us an amazing life and that I don't understand the pressure he is under. That's when I snapped. I told him he's completely out of touch if he thinks throwing money at this fixes everything. I didn't marry a paycheck. I married a person, and I need him to act like a partner, not just a provider. Now he's barely speaking to me, and I feel guilty. I know he works hard, but I also feel like I'm screaming into the void. And he just doesn't see how much I'm struggling. Am I the a-hole?
Yes, this is an interesting one. Going back, just as you're reading it, things are going through my mind about, okay, so obviously husband makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
But always on the road.
Yeah.
They have cleaning services. They have a nanny, but she's still
part-time nanny.
But she's still like I'm drowning, right? Help,
Yeah.
and of course they're pregnant too on the way. Like obviously
Yeah.
you know what that's like because it's kind of actually a similar story, kind of age groups, kind of what we had. And like all I can just think about as you were just reading that is like, this guy obviously doesn't know her love language.
You're so smart. You're learning so much. Yeah. I agree.
Like
100%. He's just not,
yeah.
he's, again, like, I don't think there's communication there. There's been a break in communication. She hasn't been probably communicating her needs. And when you don't.
And not, I would say she's communicating, but she's not articulating what
maybe the importance
truly
of it
means.
I don't know.
And he's not also then receiving what she's saying and then
Yeah.
taking the time to properly react. He's just being reactive.
Yeah.
and not taking the time to understand. Now, one thing they talked about there is how he's not talking to her anymore, so there now got no communication happening.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
When you don't have the communication, like, there's nothing worse. Doesn't matter what it is, business or life or relationships. If you're not communicating and talking,
Yeah, I agree.
you're not going to solve anything. It's no different if you're, you got a business, you got a contract at work, or so, anything. If you're not talking, nothing's ever going to get happen. So now you're just putting a bigger strain on the relationship. Mm-hmm. And all this could actually be solved if they actually sat down and discussed all this.
So it mentions that they were married. They've been married for 5 years. And she's 25
and got married
now.
young, yeah. So he was 30.
He's 33 now. So
he's like 28.
Yeah, but she was 20.
Yeah. So I assume maybe she didn't go to school. Who knows, right? So
yeah,
it's like
we don't
she
know
never got
situation.
let's think about this like, devil's advocate. So never got to truly enjoy life after high school. Maybe she did go to college or something.
Yeah. We don't know. Like they could have met in high school. Like we don't. I guess
they met as he was just coming out of, I don't know what he is. Maybe he's like a sales guy or a lawyer or something.
Who knows? Yeah.
So you think he was done school probably around like 23, let's say. So then he worked for like 4 or 5 years. Now he's got this upper management position.
Yeah.
Obviously, probably a rock star at what he's doing.
Yeah.
And we did talk about this too before about how like you don't want to even deal with home because you always get nagged at and there's stress there.
Yeah.
But you go to work and you're the all-star and everybody's cheering you on.
Yep.
So where are you actually putting all your effort?
But also we have to, I can totally see where your point and where you're coming from. So yeah, I do think like they got married young, so she probably missed out on some young adulthood experiences. And she probably had to grow up really fast, right? Like getting married that young, you do in a sense grow up a little bit faster than you're wanting to. And I just don't know at the age of 20 and 28 when he got when they both got married, if they really had deep, dark conversations about.
Well, and you wonder like how long were they dating? Doesn't say how long they were dating before. No. I mean, if she's 20 when they met, so maybe max a year or two that they were together. And now let's talk about like what do you think her love languages were back then? Let's say 5 years ago, 20 years old. Hot shot, whatever business guy.
Right, could be gifts, right?
Gifts of affirmation. Yeah. Oh my God, this is so...
gifts. No, just no gifts.
Gifts. Yeah, sorry, I meant sorry. Gifts and maybe words of affirmation too, right? He's talking about how much he loves her and all this stuff, right? And
she probably would have had some quality time, right? Yeah. Like you usually do at the beginning of relationships.
And then let's think all of a sudden, let's say they're okay, cool, everything is so great. This guy's making so much money. Boom, pregnant. Okay. So your quality time's a little bit down, but gifts are still coming in, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, now he's got maybe he's got to work more, and who knows what their lifestyle is?
Yeah, you were just imagining. Yeah,
but
right?
Okay, so now your lifestyle is getting. Oh, now we need a bigger house. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, now here comes a second kid. Okay, now you're not home more, and now I'm stressing. Maybe she's got postpartum. Who knows what's happening?
Yeah, like we're not privy to that. Information. We just have to deal with what we have. But it just seems like, I can see that they were married young. Well, she was married young. Mm-hmm. And, we don't, you mentioned like at home, he just gets nagged on, but at work is the superstar. Like we don't know what his coworkers, what their relationships are like, right? Maybe they do throw money at their significant other, and they're happy, right?
But and also maybe their significant others could all be, let's say he's working with like 40-year-olds,
right?
50-year-olds,
they're
and all their wives do care about is the boats and the trips and the cars and the money.
Yeah.
But they also, let's think about too. We were as a society as well a generation ago. So you think about the people he might be working with, that maybe their wife never planned to work because their mom never worked.
Yeah, and well, they take on that traditional wife.
And now this lady could have came from a struggling single mom, and she's like, and thought she had it cool, but then she's like, wait, I'm literally just becoming like my mother or something, right? But except just drowning in emotional
Right.
Yeah.
We're
sorrow.
not, yeah. We don't know, we're not privy to that, but I think with dealing with what we have, what has been said, um, I feel like she just wants her husband, like she just needs time with her husband, right? Like I think they need to schedule in that quality time. Like, yeah, granted he works 12 to 14 hour
Yeah.
days, right? But like you need to schedule it in.
And you think what they're doing no different than let's say what we used to do, except for the fact that you also had to work, and I
Yeah.
was working 12, 14 hours. It just depends on where I was working. I'd be gone at 5:30 in the
Yeah.
morning and coming home after 6, and maybe you had to work that day and you weren't
Yeah.
home till 7.
Yeah.
So you think we did it, but we were smart enough, and also like our parents, and especially your mom would say, you should plan time with your husband, drop the kids off, this and
Yeah.
that. So we made sure that, Sundays we were going grocery shopping together and drop the kids off at your mom's for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we planned ahead knowing like, okay, next whatever November for our anniversary, we're going to go to Dominican. So we always had those things to look forward to, not necessarily like they weren't always there, but it's like we knew that this was coming up, and we knew we were planning in 2 years from now.
There
we're
was
gonna
something
go.
to look forward
So
to.
we're always
right?
sitting there and talking with each other, planning that stuff out. Where obviously they're not talking. So if you find yourself in that kind of situation,
Yeah.
you really just both got to take a step back and say nothing's. And it's not even just like we say, not even just life, just business, anything with your kids. Take a step back and see what is the real problem. Is it? And most times you think like our kids, if they're acting, especially our oldest, he's acting up or something, it's funny that you just hang out with them for a little bit and do some joking around, and all of a sudden his mood just changes.
Yeah.
Like they feel, I don't know, and I don't even know if they realize, maybe they're feeling like they're neglected or something.
Yeah.
And you never know what's going on. And of course, kids don't want to ever talk to you and tell you what's truly going on. So you have to play.
Yeah.
But I say it's like when you have a baby, it's like it's three things, right? You either got to change them, they're tired, or they're hungry.
Yeah.
So it's like you just got to go through the motions. So you try one thing, it's anything, right? You talk about, you can't win if you don't fail. You got to learn, right? So try one thing that doesn't work. Next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing.
Yeah.
So these, definitely they should work on
something.
something.
I can see like how both their points can come to a great resolution. Like I feel like yes, if she gets more, hired help, like if she gets maybe a full-time nanny, right? Like maybe they need to take, it's a lot of mental load. Like at the end of the day, I think she has a lot of mental load on her plate, and she needs help with that. So maybe the part-time nanny does need to be a full-time nanny. Maybe she needs to schedule in, time to herself. Like if it's once a week, you get a massage or, whatever else, that just so that she can dedicate that time to herself, like, or even going to a spa. But I also think he needs to be considerate as well and say like, yeah, okay, they need to he needs to set away time to just, be a dad and then be a husband, right?
So I wonder if she's just, he has a good point. Look, we make a lot of money. You need more help around the house. You need to hire it.
Yeah.
I wonder if just she's thinking like, I'm a failure as a mother because I can't do this. I'm a failure because I don't want to have more help.
And we don't know
Why
it,
do I
right?
need help? My mother, let's go back to like, where she came from. My mother never had any help. My mother, maybe she had a single mom who worked 3 jobs.
Yeah,
and I can't even take care of 2 kids, and I live at home in this mansion. Well, also, you probably live in a way bigger house than, right? There's all these different things that we don't know. And,
we don't know,
and everybody is so different. Well, your mother came from a time too, but your mother grew up in a place of scarcity, let's say, so she developed differently than what you're developing differently mentally, and you're in a different place than where she was, in a different age, and all this stuff. So, so and maybe that would solve her problem. Maybe if she hired like a house manager or like someone to help with all those day-to-day tasks, whether she's paying bills and making doctor's appointments, this. If she hires somebody, even if it was a part-time, a virtual assistant type of person, a personal assistant, maybe that's all she needs. You know, and maybe
yes,
that
and you never know, but he also needs to listen to her concerns, because at the end of the day, the kids need to see that, mom and dad are good, right? And if his solution is just throwing more money at hired help, like, he's totally missing the point.
But you talked about this last week about decision fatigue in females.
Yeah.
So you think if he said, no, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to hire another person to come in. The cleaners are going to come here twice a week. We're getting a personal chef.
Yeah.
I'm ordering you a bunch of food from whatever. Groceries are going to be delivered.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I've got this person that's coming in. They're going to take care of anything around the house, maintenance stuff, car issues, get your gas, all that stuff. You wonder if he just made that. It's kind of like.
But I if he did that, I think that'd be great. But he's also missing the point of
well, that's just it. But that solves the okay. So she's complaining about being overworked, overwhelmed, stress, anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get that off the plate.
Yes.
Right? We can afford that. Let's get that off the plate. Okay,
Yeah.
now where? Did this help solve the problem? No. What else are you missing? Okay, is that personal connection? I'm not seeing you, and when you are home, you help with the kids for 2 or 3 hours. The kids go to bed, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
Or you got to go out for a trip, and we don't spend our time together.
Yeah.
Or maybe, hey, I just wish that when you came home, you would say, good job, thank you for all you do. Right? It could just be as simple as that, just a words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just not getting her the gifts anymore. That could be the thing too.
Right, but I think at the end, bottom line is they're not communicating effectively.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they're not, I think from what we have read, he isn't fully understanding the what she goes through in a day. It's almost as if she needs to remove herself, let him deal with the kids and whatever, a typical day, so that maybe he can see, walking in her shoes, hey, this is a little tough. Maybe I do need to throw more money at it, but also I can see that, maybe he would realize that she's just missing that connection with her person, right? We can talk about the example where I went back to work and you stayed at home and you had these marvelous plans on your first day of parental leave. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. I am going to wait and come home to hot food on the table. I cannot wait. And let me tell you,
the first day of work,
no,
it was just kind of downhill.
No. The first day you were like, I said, well, what happened? Dinner wasn't even started. And then you're like, yeah, funny story. Nothing went according to plan. And I was like, no way. So I think perhaps he's obviously not as home as much, and I think she just misses that.
Oh yeah.
You could, for me, I could have a nanny help raise my children, but I would be really upset if I'm missing my husband, right? In this upbringing of children, right?
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, she's got another kid on the way too, so you just think about mentally, she's like, oh my God, this is going to be even less time we even have together.
Right, so
yeah. And it depends, right? We don't know what else there are her parents around. Does she have other people coming in?
Exactly, we don't know those support
systems. Feel stuck
systems.
in this, 10,000 square foot house sitting there in the corner all alone all day while the nanny looks after the kids and no one's checking on you. That could be as simple as that. So, interesting. Interesting discussion there. Just going back to a bunch of things.
No. At the end of the day, she is not the a-hole.
Well, yeah, and I don't think either of them are. I think it's just that's just how everybody is, right? You get so reactive when somebody brings something up. You think you're doing, and I felt that way too. I'm in going to work 12 hours a day, but guess what? If I worked 8 hours a day and we lived a less extravagant lifestyle, I'd be home more.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have to work weekends.
Yeah.
And we'd still be able to go on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might be able to go on even more vacations because you don't have that debt or that, that lifestyle is doesn't cost you as much.
Yeah, and it's, you know, once you have that lifestyle, gets a little bit like it gets harder to maintain.
Well, how do you go? But then also,
right?
how do you go? And then how do you go back? Because you're
Yeah,
used to living in that certain
exactly.
lifestyle as well. It's very difficult
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that story. Then the next thing we're going to touch on is leveraging things like AI in your relationships. So there's lots of different things we've talked about, scheduling and tracking stuff on calendars. You can get family calendars, for instance, if you want to track like what all your kids' sports and all your jobs, depends on what you're doing. So we kind of I just go over what you're doing every week, for instance, and just keep track of it on my calendar, so I can just kind of know what days, a week or two in advance, what days you're going to work late. Then I'll make sure that I'm not working late those days. But hey, that goes back to our story, right? How we're working together to go, hey, you got to work till 6 that day, which means you're not coming home till 7, which means I should make sure that I'm going to be in town that day for work if I can, or at least home at a decent enough time where I can get the kids. Or if the kids walk home themselves, then I'll still be able to, home by 5.
Or get food supper,
prepped and clean up and make sure the kids are good to go. That way when you come home after 6, there's stuff there. So that's just planning a little bit and knowing where everybody is at all times. Yeah. But one thing that you brought this up was using it for meal planning.
Yep.
So we've got things like ChatGPT, Grok. If you guys are on X, Grok's a pretty cool AI that they've got out there now. A Copilot as well. You get the free Copilot that Microsoft has. But you use ChatGPT.
I use it quite often, and I use the Google one, like Gemini, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never really liked, I don't know, I've tried Gemini twice. I didn't get it, but.
There's, I think it's been updated because it's a little different.
There's a bunch of different ones for creation.
I don't know.
But yeah, ChatGPT, I just played around with this as well before we started recording. Just gave it I have eggs, I got chicken, I've got salad, lettuce, cheese, and I don't mind going to the store.
Yeah.
And then create a thing, right? So it's like, first day you're going to have scrambled eggs and some peppers. Then the next day it's like you're going to make an omelet with the peppers. And then it's like, so you're going to have a chicken sandwich, and then you're going to have chicken wraps. And it's like, then it even said like, check if you have tortillas. So it was pretty cool that way. But you've looked out some stuff. You had a good story about a lady.
So I was watching a video where this lady literally listed everything in her house, from freezer to pantry to like all her spices. And she said, make up a meal plan with these existing ingredients. And it came up with like a 2-week meal plan. And she literally did not have to buy groceries or go to the store for 2 weeks, other than getting like, fresh produce that, like bananas and apples and stuff. But and she was able to use up all the stuff in her pantry and her freezer for 2 weeks, right? Like, you got to think like of the cost savings of, like not even getting groceries for 2 weeks or minimal groceries, like the cost savings there. And you're using all the stuff in your house that would have probably been thrown out anyways.
Well, right? So you save time because maybe you still have to go to the grocery store but it's quick in and out.
Yeah,
you didn't have to spend an hour. Like, we go to the grocery store, it's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Getting stuff, and so you save time there. You save money, less gas, waste. Yeah, because you're making sure that whatever's in your fridge is being used up before. And I'm sure you tell it to like, hey, I've got so use up what's going to expire first.
Well, yeah.
At least it's smart that way.
Yeah.
That I'm sure the AI would then take it and meal prep. And I thought it was pretty cool. Like, it gave me, I didn't even ask it to make me 3 meals. It just said, give me a meal plan for this. It was actually pretty cool that it said, use this and then use leftover this for this.
Yeah. And then I think it also has the potential to open your palate to like different recipes. Like maybe you're in a redundant,
and you think, if you eat chicken, but it's like, if you eat chicken, that was the one thing it said for me. It's like, use your chicken for like whatever chicken salad, and then use it to make, but then it's like, but if you go and get tomato sauce and you still have cheese, now you can make chicken Parmesan.
Yeah.
So you think, like sometimes you'll eat pasta with noodles and then you'll eat chicken by itself.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll eat cheese as a snack, but if you incorporate it all together, all of a sudden you just created a new meal that.
And I think it just takes that again, that mental load and that decision making away from you. And it's like one less thing on your plate. You know, if you just have that meal plan and all the instructions and everything is there for you, you know, it's one less thing that you have to do. And I think if you can incorporate it, it only really takes like max maybe 15-20 minutes. You know, if you're going through
everything,
right?
And
like
talk to text.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. You want to save time, talk to text.
So yeah, like
just start pumping in all the ingredients. And the cool thing too is, we were talking about this, you know, at the end of the week, you can say, hey, I used up all my chicken and I no longer have ground beef. And I've got 50% approximately, and I used up whatever you told me to.
Yeah.
Give me it, update it for me.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to the store, create me another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What do you think I have left, right? And I'm sure you say, you know, you need to get more chicken. You got to get an extra thing of ground beef and some more pasta sauce.
Yeah. And another way you can use it as well is telling it everything when you go through the flyers. If you're a flyer shopper, if you're not a flyer shopper, you should start. If you go through all the flyers and, you know, take what is on sale, and just say like, make a meal plan out of all the stuff that's on sale this week. I don't mind
especially
buying
with like
anything.
The meats, for instance.
Yeah.
So if you know that there's chicken breasts and chicken thighs are on sale and pork chops.
Yeah.
So make me meals alternating whatever meat for the next.
It kind of will help on, you know, that wastage that is like sometimes it's inevitable. It just happens.
Yeah, it's funny.
Right?
So we've kind of been more conscious about, like, we used to have like so many canned goods and everything, especially like in our basement, we got a closet that's like a pantry. I was putting away the groceries today and I was just like, holy crap, this thing's getting barren, which is actually good because we bought all these different things. You see what the kids like or don't like. And now it's just like very specific.
Yeah.
Like this, you know, 10 different items, not 100.
Yeah.
And at least you know that everything that's there is going to get used up because you just, and then we know like every week or two, okay, we got to get more juice for the kids, let's say, and then we got to get some more pasta sauce and maybe some canned vegetables.
Yep.
So, and then slowly, it's just funny. Same with even in the fridge too, like things start to get more barren, but it's like there's less food in there. There's just less
wastage,
we don't have all these different sauces and stuff. But if we do have those sauces, hey, throw it in the chat GPT and say, hey, I've got some honey mustard. I've got some sour cream and some, can you come up with something? And, you know, who knows what it would come up. But at least you're going to use that stuff up and it's not going to go to waste because so many times we have like a salad dressing.
Yes.
Or you get feta and we make a couple things with feta and then it's like, then it's just, then like what else are you going to do with it besides like crumbling in your salad or making.
And then I think like you try it and then you kind of get sick of it and then, you know, it goes in the fridge to die.
But if you know, okay, this stuff's only going to last for a couple more days, can I make a meal and then can I freeze it?
Yes.
And then you've got, and you could do a lot of stuff too. There's some of those food places you can go to where you can do like crock pot meals.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
In a bag, right? So you just search up, make me some crock pot meal ideas using the following. This is what I have left in my freezer or my fridge. Yeah. Boom, Ziploc it, throw it in the freezer. Yeah. And then, you know, when you got one of those busy days, when you know that you and your husband got to work late, you can throw it in the crock pot. If your kids are old enough, tell them to turn it on when they get home or whatever, right? So
I think that is like a fantastic, like crock pot is time savers. If anyone has a crock pot, you probably know. But yeah, put a something into ChatGPT or any AI and say like, I want to make a crock pot meal or whatever. Like, give me the recipe. Yeah. I'm open to anything. Crock pots save a lot on time. Like it's dump and set, right? And then go to work. And then when you're done work,
plan ahead too. So you can just say, this is what I have in my cupboards right now. I want a 30-day meal plan, crock pot meal plan. Yeah. Also, this is what's on sale this week as well.
Oh yeah.
So you can combine it all. You can combine it all together.
Absolutely.
This is my kids don't like this. My kids like this. And then also, then it creates obviously your grocery list. But also, if you're doing any sort of fitness routine or weight loss program or anything, you can also tell it. I've done this before, just telling it to track my macros. Like, okay, can you tell me what? And it'll tell you, if you do this with this amount, you can have a cup. So your serving is a cup of this, and this has this many protein. Yeah. This is many carbs, fats. And then if you keep this all going too in a long chat, Like it just continually just helps you, and then there's no guessing too, and you don't have to
Yeah.
feel bad about what you're gonna eat. There's no guessing; it's all being tracked right there.
I think
and-
like that, it's done for you, right? Like it's just like, oh, okay.
So you're making your life easier, less stress, less anxiety, just
Yeah.
more time. And there you go. Now you have your time to have more time together, and you can sit down with your, your spouse, and something like a crock pot, or they have the like the one pan meals where it's like you throw everything on one pan in the oven. Less cleanup to do.
Yeah.
More time to spend together.
Yeah. And it's, you could also use it to, like those 30-minute meals, right? Like you can just put in a 30-minute meal that you and your partner can do, right? Like have some fun with it. And even like you can utilize like any AI to help you with your kids' schoolwork, right?
There's websites as well. If you don't want to use AI directly, there's also some websites out there too where you can type in the
you can type in
the ingredients you have.
Yeah,
it'll do a similar thing and pull up recipes that.
I just find AI is a lot more easier, and it's a little bit more intuitive and stuff.
Got your phone, it's easy to pull up.
Yeah, but it's also like AI isn't going anywhere, so I think we just need to incorporate it as best we can into our lives. I know it's a great tool. I use it like all the time with the kids. Like if they bring home homework and they're not really understanding, like say if it's math or science or whatever it is, we plug in the problem into AI,
just to double check,
and then we just say, please explain this at a grade, whatever grade it is, level. And it'll break it down into like a way that I can even explain it to them, like where I'm like, oh, okay, this is what the teacher's trying to teach you, right? So I think it a lot of parents should be utilizing it, especially to help their kids with, schoolwork and stuff. And even like teaching the kids like, hey, like it's not meant to do your work. It is meant to, benefit you so that, you are your best self. So if there's anything that you don't understand, put it into there, ask it to explain it at your current grade level so that, you can succeed.
And it's so different than back in the day. We used to have the
encyclopedias.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. There you go. On the same level.
The library.
but it's true. So it's a library that you can access this library instantly, but then also have it break down into steps, or say, hey, I didn't quite understand that. Can you dumb it down a little bit more for me? And so, stop like struggling when this tool is here. And, some people suck at reading, and guess what you can do? You can get it to text out, write the text out for you, and then have it dictate it back to you. Your smartphone can read back to you. And then, so if you can listen to it on the go, there's so many different options out there, and to help you out. And so you don't have to sit there and stress, especially, helping kids. That's stressful sometimes, trying to figure out. I get stuff. These kids got math equations. I don't even know. I don't even remember looking at those when I was a kid.
Yeah, man.
I was getting that crazy. In grade 7. I don't know how some of this stuff.
Yeah. But it's like, I think it's so awesome that, had I not, if we didn't use it or have it, I wouldn't be able to help my kid, because I'd be like, I have no idea.
Just think, like our oldest had to do a history exam on a bunch of different things, peacekeeping, Canada peacekeeping, and all these generations. Yeah. So to be able to pull up, and we were looking at websites and stuff, but just then to get it to explain deeper into it, because sometimes it'd just be like one paragraph
or one little blurb.
So you can just be like, hey, can you explain more about this and give me some more facts and breakdown, and where could I find those facts? You know, and they'll say, oh, you can go on a Canadian government website, and sure enough, then you can find it. But doing a Google search sometimes doesn't pull up what you need. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am still learning lots about it, and I think everyone should give it a try. It's there. It's not going to go away, right?
And I know, and people think, I don't want to deal with that. But it's no different if you learned how to use a cell phone.
Yeah.
And you learned how to text and email. You can learn how to do this too, regardless of your age. And I mean, there's stuff that our kids do on their iPads or their computer, and I'm just like, how did you do that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? It doesn't even need to be like, it could be used for anything. It can create a travel itinerary. It can create like a road trip for you,
Yeah,
right?
just fun things to do with the kids. Play an activity, play
Yeah.
a game. Come up with different solutions for a birthday party and all
I
this stuff.
agree.
Just to help you out. So
Mm-hmm.
why sit there and stress when there's these tools that are at your disposal, at our fingertips now?
Yeah, literally.
That we can access, and then they'll just help you out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it for this week then. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. We got the daily shorts on YouTube as well, like we said. And if you guys have any show ideas or more things you want us to discuss, reach out and let us know. And with that, we'll see everyone next week.
Bye.